Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are making this gorgeous newborn beanie that you see right here, right now. Simply divine. I love it so much. Now this particular beanie was made using it's not using 8-ply or the DK weight that I usually use. It's made using a 10-ply or an Aran weight, something a little thicker. Now, as you know, we're all making our patchwork jumper. Oh, here it is, our patchwork sweater. Well, this is part of the patchwork sweater. It's not the complete finished product. And we are making this patchwork sweater at the moment using the 10-ply or the Aran weight luxury yarn. So if you want to make that, I've popped a link to the playlist of that particular sweater in the description box down below. In the meantime, this is the yarn we're using. It is a 10-ply luxury koala from Bendigo Woolen Mills here in Australia. If you want to make one exactly the same, just grab any one of your Aran weight in your stock, your 10-ply or your number 4 weight yarn. And we will be using the 5mm hook, so you can use the hook size that suits your yarn. Just be wary if you're going to change your yarn size, you will be having to change the size of your beanie. So just be wary of that. Stick to the same size or the same yarn weight. All right, so what you will need is, and let me go through all the information. You've already seen the hook that we're going to use, which is a 5mm hook. You will need a pair of scissors. You will need a sewing needle, and that's to do two things: to weave in two ends and also to sew the button on to your beanie. Make sure that your sewing needle fits through the holes of your buttons, otherwise it won't work. And you will need one stitch marker, and the amount of yarn you will need is roughly 38 grams. I think I used 38, but give yourself between 38 and 42 grams. Possibly even 45 to 50, give or take, yeah, because everybody's tension is different, all right? So I just wanted to let everyone know also this particular beanie was created specifically for my next door neighbour who had a baby literally only a week ago today, I should say. And I'm going to pop over there maybe after the live on the weekend and give it to her as a gift, including with some other projects that I might show you on one of my video vlogs. In the meantime, I'm going to let you get started creating your gorgeous newborn beanie. Good luck all. We're going to start off by forming a magic loop. Grab the tail end of your yarn and pop it in front like so, grabbing your working end, wrapping it around that tail end, and what you have formed is the letter X. Yeah, pop your hook under your first loop, grab that back loop and pull it up and forward, and you have 1, 1 and 2 in front. You need to grab everything like that. Notice how I'm changing my hand. Yeah, you've got that loop right there. We're going to start off by chaining, and a chain is a yarn over your hook, pull a loop through to the loop on your hook once. That's chain 1. We're going to chain a second one. All right, now without letting go, you can probably pull it up a little tiny bit so you can get into that center. You're going to do a double crochet, yarn over your hook into the center, and at this stage you are crocheting over 2 loops. You'll see it. It's a lot thicker than the other side, which is only 1. And what you're going to do is pull a loop through like so. Don't let go like I just did. I just let go of the yarn. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2. 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Now you can let go a little bit, and if you like, you can close your tail a little bit. So grab your tail and just close that circle a little bit, not much. We need to fit another 9 double crochets in there. I'm sorry, let's try 11 double crochets in there. What we're going to do first though is that last stitch that we just made. Grab your stitch marker, you're going to pop it through the top 2 loops of that stitch right there. All right, you can see the top 2 loops, and just pop your stitch marker in there, and that's the 2 loops of the double crochet, not the chains that we did. Yeah, all right, from here make sure you are going over both threads at the same time. Here, yarn over your hook into the space, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and that's your second double crochet in 3 loops, yarn over, 2, 2 loops, yarn over, 2. Your third. Now the way you count your stitches is these little V looking things. That's 1, 2, and the one your thread is working in is 3. All right, so you've got 3. Now we want to have 12 altogether. All right, so double crochet 4, 5, 6, whoops, try that again, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, so just holding it there, making sure that even though I counted them, I could have accidentally counted 1 and 2 at the same time. So you're going to make sure you count them, the little V's, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is right there. All right, so now what you're going to do, see that little tail that you have? Let's take the loop out again. See your little tail? Just give it a tug, and presto, the center has closed. All right, so now we are going to slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker, not any of your chain 2s that you did earlier, in that stitch with your stitch marker. So pop your hook just in the stitch marker, no loops there, just pop your hook in, and then you pull a loop through. You've got 2 loops. That loop needs to come right back through to the stitch on your hook. All right, take out your stitch marker, tighten everything up a little bit, chain 1 and 2 in the same stitch. You are doing a double crochet. 1. Normally we would put 2. Pop your stitch marker in the top 2 loops of that first double crochet that we just did. Now normally we would put 2, but to close this up later we're going to put the second one over our work. Don't worry about it for now, just leave 1 there. But in every stitch you come to, you're putting 2 double crochets. So there's your next stitch, your second one, not your first. You're putting 2 double crochets in there. And so pop your hook in and do 1 double crochet. And then you're doing a second one in the same stitch. Yeah, 2 into your next. All right, and that's it. Easy round, this one. I was about to say row, but it's a round. 2 in each stitch, all the way across. I don't need to show you how to do it, so I'm going to go as fast as I can until we get there, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Or maybe not as fast as I can. I still don't want to rush too much. There you go. This is the start of any basic beanie. When I say basic beanie, nothing fancy to these beanies. They're just basic. Okay. The only difference is we're going to be putting some front posts and back posts on our beanie eventually, just to make it look gorgeous. Ooh, I almost forgot to put a second one in there. Excuse me, Mary. All right, there we go. Nearly there. And I almost forgot to put a second one in there. 2 more left, or 1 more now. All right, so I've got my last stitch right there, and I do apologise because the sun is coming in now, guys. So you're going to see a bit of glare. Give me 1 moment and I'll stop recording and come back. But in the meantime, do your last stitch there. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to count what we've done so far. What you have is, we're not going to count the stitch with your stitch marker for now. We're just going to count these 2 right there. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. and your stitch marker is 23, and the next double crochet across will be 24. All right, just give me 1 second and I'll actually sort the sun coming in out. All right, give me 1 moment. All right, so there we go, guys. I managed to sort the sun out. I do apologise about that. All right, so where we are is right there. And we still have that stitch there. We have our chain 2. And remember how I said I want to pop the last stitch back into the first area. So let's just give that a bit of a stretch, and you can see that's where we put our chains, yeah? So we're going to do a double crochet right in the same space with the chains and your double crochet. So do a double crochet there. It'll look overcrowded, but that's normal. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook, taking out your stitch marker. So you officially, if you wanted to, which you should, count these little V's that you see here. Count them, get to this V right here, there, and that will be 24 V's. Okay, so if you had 12 here, you need to have 24 in this round. And now we're going to do round 3. Chain 1 and 2. In the same stitch, you're going to put a double crochet, and in that stitch you'll also pop a double crochet in at the end of the round like we did before. Grab your stitch marker and pop it in the top 2 loops of that stitch like so, and then in the next stitch you're going to pop 1 double crochet. So right in the top stitch there, 1 double crochet, and then you're going to put 2 double crochets in the next stitch. All right, so pop your 2 double crochets, which is 1 and 2. In the next one will be 1. In your next one will be 2. 1 and 2. In your next one will be 1. All right, I hope you're getting a picture here. The increase is in every second stitch now. So now you've got 2 into your next one, 2, and 1 into your next. All right, so what I might do is pop this on fast for you. Just remember, it's 2 in the next stitch, 1 in the next, 2, 1, 2, 1 all the way in the round. All right, so we are going to put 2 into the next, 1 and 2, 1 into your next, and repeat that in the round, and off we go. And 2 in the second last stitch, 1 and 2, and 1, let me get a close up for you, and 1 into that very last stitch right there. Now just be wary that that little tiny thing there is not a stitch, that's a slip stitch, yeah? So what we have is, we've done 2, 1, 2 in every stitch in the round. This set here needs to be 2 in there, but it's only 1 with your chain 2. Don't even worry about chain 2. It's not counted as anything in this particular tutorial, okay? So really, let's just count our little V's up the top, yeah? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. All right, now we should have 36, but we're going to in a minute when we do a double crochet back in the very first stitch that we started with. So back in the stitch with your chains, like so. It's almost like we're crossing over the stitch. Do your double crochet, and so that's your 36th stitch. Now you're going to slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker, like so, taking out your stitch marker, and guess what? You're going to do another increase round. So chain 1 and 2, we're going to increase this round again, but in every third stitch instead of the second. So you're going to be putting a double crochet in the same stitch that you are in, like normal. Pop your stitch marker in this stitch, like we've been doing all along. Before we did 1 and then we did 2 in the next. Now we're going to do 1, 1, and then 2 into the next. All right, so you're going to have 2 in here at the beginning of the round. Not yet, but you will. Then you go 1 into your next, 1 into your next, and 2 into the last one. 1 and 2. All right, so 1 into your next, 1 into your next, and 2 into the last one. The next one. Hello. All right, so it goes like this: 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, all the way around until you get to this stitch right here, which is doesn't matter, we'll do it together. I'll be doing it in fast motion though. You can actually slow down the video with your settings if you like, but I'm going to go 1, 1, 2 now, and then I'll pop this on fast after we do the set. So 1 in the next, 1 in the next, 2 into your next, 1 and 2. All right, so off we go, and let's keep going. And 2 into that third last stitch. Okay, I hope you didn't get too lost there. And then you should have 2 stitches left. So 1 into your next, 1 into your last. Now if you didn't end up with 2 left, just check to see you haven't missed any. I'm going to bring that out a bit. Check to see if you haven't missed any stitches, yeah? Because you should have had 2 left, which would have been your 2 there, and then 1, 1, and then your beginning stitch should be 2, which we're going to do in a minute. But count your stitches in the round. At this stage, you should have 47 stitches. When we do our very next stitch, that will be your 48th stitch. All right, so yarn over your hook. You're going to jump into your stitch with your chains and stitch marker, or chains and double I should say. Do your double and then you slip stitch to join. Now this is where the pattern is going to change. All right, so now what you have, this is your increased side of the beanie. This is your crown of your baby's head. Now what you want to do is start closing that crown and forming the rounder part of baby's head. Yeah, this is how we do that. We chain our 1 and 2. Now we're not putting a double crochet in the same stitch anymore. Okay, yarn over your hook, you're going straight into the very next stitch, which is here, and put your double crochet in there. All right, so it's kind of leaning. Yeah, put your stitch marker in that stitch like so, And guess what? A very simple round. Don't forget to count your stitches in this round, by the way. I didn't, but don't forget to do it. And just double crochet in every stitch. Super easy. I hope the birds aren't too loud for you guys. I've got the front door open. I hope it's not too loud for you. All right, so off we go. Doing a double crochet in every stitch. All right, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do that. What I want for you to do now is put a double crochet into every stitch, just one. Get to your very last stitch or your second last stitch around there. In fact, get to the stitch that you have. Get to the stitch where you're here. Don't do that very last stitch and this area, because I'll show you what to do in that area when we get there. All right, go ahead and do your double crochet in every stitch, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, so we are here. You may find this starting to happen. That's normal because we haven't been increasing in this round. So it's going to start turning, but we actually want it to turn that way eventually, because that's the inside of our work. All right, so what I want you to do now, if you're anything like me, and like I said, get to the area where you have that very last stitch that crossed over to your chains. Yeah, so you need to put a double crochet in there. So yarn over your hook, you're doing your double crochet. What you have is your work looking like that. If you were to count your stitches now from that stitch marker to here, you would only have 47 stitches, because we didn't actually do the double crochet in the same stitch as the chains in this round, which we're not going to do anymore. This is the way, this round here will be the repeat round, the one we're doing now. All right, so yarn over your hook, you're going to jump into the area with your chains. There's your chains and your slip stitch. You're going to jump into that space where it is and do your double crochet like you would going over the chains in every round, except now you don't have a double crochet in there. If you did, you would be adding a stitch in every round, and you don't want that, right? So now you slip stitch into your stitch with your stitch marker, pull a loop through, take out your stitch marker. If you were to count your stitches now from this V here all the way in the round, you would have 48 stitches. All right, it's a little confusing, but the round that we just did right here, right now, is going to be our repeat round. Now let me start you off with the repeat round, okay? So you're chaining 1 and 2. Now we're not putting a double crochet in the same stitch anymore, okay? Yarn over your hook, you're going straight into the very next stitch, which is here, and put your double crochet in there. All right, now pop your stitch marker in your stitch like so. And also what I want you to do, lift up this little loop, yeah, and pop a stitch marker in that loop for now. All right, so we can talk about what to do. And this way, if someone comes to you and your work and gives it a tug, you won't lose your stitch. You can just pull it up and start working again. It's just a little tip that I do in some of my tutorials, and there you go. All right, so what you have now is that. Before we continue and head off on your own and make a gazillion rows, we're going to turn this around. Your little tail there, your little tail we're going to thread into a sewing and weaving darning needle. Yep. You're going to weave this in. Don't let anyone tell you that's not going to come out because we crocheted over it. It will, it can, and it has. And we're actually going to do a tutorial on how to repair one of these magic loops when they come undone. The reason I'm talking about this now is because I did some repair work recently for a commission project, and so it just reminded me that sometimes these can come undone, and they can. Okay, so what I want you to do is grab your needle. Now we crocheted over it that way. We're still going to go in the same way. So grab your needle and just pop it in and under some of the stitches, splitting some of those stitches like so. Don't go all the way around, just a little bit further. Just turn it around and make sure you can't see the needle from the front, which we can't. And so just pop the needle through and pull your thread nice and tight. It closes it up further, which is good. Then keep going in the round. Now the reason I say don't go too far around, which I've done in the past, is sometimes you can catch the thread of a stitch like that, and you don't want that. You want to stay under your little threads here. Okay, continue here going through this way and stop once you do this section here. Oh, don't forget to check your front, make sure you can't sew the needle, and I can. There, can you see it anymore? No, good. All right, now what I want you to do, turn it around, and you're going to go back in the same direction that you came in, but you're going to skip a little tiny thread right here. You're just going to go over the thread like so and skip it and go into that little stitch there. All right, and just pop your needle through. Oh, went too thick. Through one more time. You don't have to go too far, that'll do. Just check the front, make sure you can't see the needle, and you can't, which is good, and pull the loop through. All right, grab your scissors, give it a cut, and probably best not to cut too close. Yeah, oh, I do all the time anyway, as you do. All right, so we'll pop that thread out the way and just give it a gentle tug, and your thread hides in there. You have sewn that in. First you've crocheted on once, then you've sewn it in a second time and weaved it back the other way. That's not going to come undone. All right. All I want you to do is repeat the round that we just did over and over and over again for another 4 more rounds. Complete your 4 rounds, meet me back here, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, what you have now is this. Alright, what you should have is a little curve happening. This is the end of the row, which we're going to complete together. And you should have 9 rows completed altogether. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, and now what we're going to do is change the pattern completely. Absolutely completely. But before we do, we need to finish off this round, and to finish it off we're going to put our double crochet in the stitch like we've been doing all along. I forgot my stitch marker, but that's where it would have been right there. Slip stitch in there, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. What we're going to do now is do a thing called front post, back post stitches. So one stitch will be front post and one stitch will be back post. How we do that is, now if you haven't done this before, I do have tutorials here on YouTube for it. I've left a couple of links in the description box down below of some of the tutorials that we've done a front post and back post stitch. And there actually is quite a few shorts here on YouTube and reels on Instagram and reels on Facebook showing how to do a front post, back post. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is chain 2 like normal, 1 and 2. From here, we're going to go straight to the very first stitch, the next stitch that we have. These little stitches that we've been going into are called stitches. You've got a front loop and a back loop. Let me take this so I can show you properly. That's your front loop of the stitch, and that's your back loop of the stitch. And this stem that you see right here is a post, and this is what we do when we do a front post. Yarn over our hook, we go around. So the very next stitch, we're here, the very next stitch is here. So what you're going to do is go around that whole post and back through to the front, and then pull a loop through and up, and you should have your 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2 like a normal double crochet. You need your stitch marker in that stitch that we just completed, top 2 loops like normal. And that is a front post stitch that you have created. To do the back post stitch, yarn over your hook, you're going to go through the back of your work before you went this way and around in the front. Now you're going to turn your hook at the back, put it through to the front, and then go back into the back. It's a little awkward right around the post. Pull a loop through like so. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. I'm not going to leave you in a lurch. We're going to do a few more. Yeah. Now we're going to go back to the front post. It's called a front post double crochet. Okay. So yarn over your hook, around. So you're going through the back, around your post and into the front, which is why it's called a front post. Pull the loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Back to the back post, and you'll notice the front post pulls forward and your back post goes backward. So now we've got a front one, now we've got to do the back one. The back one is yarn over your hook. Once again, you're going behind your work, around that post and way into the back again, and then you just pull a loop through. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over 2, 2 loops, yarn over the last 2. And that is pretty much what you need to do for this round. So around the post for the front post, around the back of the post for the back post, and again the front, and again the back. All right, now if you want to re-watch this work that we've done right here, I'm going to pop a little time thing there for you. Go back to that time and you can re-watch this and just keep going over and over and over again until you get to your very last 2 stitches. Complete that round, get to those last 2 stitches, and I will meet you back there once you're done, and there's the time to go back to. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of our round. I'm loving the look of this stitch. It's simply divine, yeah? Alright, so where we are at the end of the round, I did my very last, let's try second last stitch, which is a front post there. And then the first stitch we did was a front post, meaning all this area where we've got our chain 2 and our double crochet over it needs to be a back post. It's going to be a little tricky because we've got the chain 2 there. So what you want to do is separate that chain 2 for a minute and do your back post in this double crochet like normal. It's going to be a little tight, but do that stitch like normal, and there's your back post. So your next stitch would have been a front post, which is there. So what you're going to do is slip stitch into the front post, pull the loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, taking out your stitch marker. You are chaining 1 and 2. All right, now this can be a little tricky here now, all right, because you are in your front post. You're still going to do the front post here because your back post is going over your work. You won't see it until later, so just yarn over your hook, go into your very first. Oh, by the way, it's going to be a lot easier to do your front and back post now because they're sticking out to you. Your front post is sticking towards you, your back post is pulled back, and you need to go around that top area of the post, not down the bottom because that's already a row, or round I should say. You need to go right up here, and I've been forgetting to tell you, you should still have 48 stitches in the round. Make sure you've got 48. Yeah. So we're going to do a front post. So you're jumping into that space there. It's a lot easier to do your front post like that. And we're going to pop our stitch marker in the same stitch that we're in, like so. And then you're going to do your back post, and again you want to separate that area so you know where you're going around your post like so. Pull your loop through and doing your normal back post. I do find this round So much easier. There's your front post. It's so much easier than the previous round because everything is there ready for you to keep going. Yeah, check that out. Simply divine. Yeah, I don't think you need to see me doing any more. I want you to head off on your own and continue again doing your front post and your back post all the way around. Get to the last stitch or 2 stitches there, and I shall meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the round. It's getting very dark here, so I've had to turn on some unusual lights to keep up, but I did want to get this completed tonight for you. So where I am is I've done the last front post, and there's all this here with that back post and your chain 2. So it can be a little tricky, but what you're going to do is complete, notice how I just moved the chain 2 out the way, complete your back post like normal. And then you slip stitch in to your front post, pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, taking out that stitch marker, chain 1. Well, you're not completing it, you're just slip stitching really, that's all you're doing. And you're only chaining 1 here because we are going to change the pattern yet again for the very last time. This is our last round, get excited. All right, from here you're going to do a front post single crochet, which means exactly what you've been doing with your double. You're going around it like normal, but you're not putting your yarn over your hook. You're just going around your post, pull the loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, and guess what? That's your stitch. How simple is that stitch? So basic. And you're going to do exactly the same with the back post. Go around your post. We're not putting any yarns over. You're just going around like that and do a normal single crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2. Front post, very easy the front post, pull a loop through, yarn over, 2. Back post. I find the back post a little awkward, but I can manage. Pull the loop through, yarn over, pull through 2. Just be wary, sometimes that back post can actually pull threads at the back. It has happened to me before, just be wary of that, yeah? Front post, very easy. I love front post single crochet. Back post, not so easy. But we can do it, we can. I have faith in you, and so on. All right, I'm not going to sit here and let you watch me do it. I want you to head off on your own and continue your front post single crochet, back post single crochet in every second stitch like you've been doing all along. Get to your very last front post right here, and I shall meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end of this round. I haven't completed the last front post single crochet, which I'll do now, and the very last back post single crochet. So it's behind the whole post, avoiding the chain 2. You're just doing that right there. Actually, it's not really a chain 2, is it? It's kind of a chain 1 now. And you're slip stitching into the stitch with your stitch marker. Pull it real tight, chain 1, and guess what guys? You are cutting your work. Ta-da! Why? Because you're done. That's it. That is the end of your beanie. Ta-da! There you go. Now, have a look at the back. Can you see that line that usually hangs around here? It is there, but it's very faint. It's hardly noticeable. But you know what we're going to do right now, this very second? I don't want to stall because this tutorial is going a long time. So let's weave in this last end, thread your needle, and what we're going to do is weave it in through the inside of your beanie. So just turn your beanie towards you, grabbing a stitch at the back. Whoops. Any stitch you see. Let me get a close up so you can see where I am. Let's take that out again. This is where we are. I'm going behind the stitch and popping my needle at the back. You can't see the needle at the front. And you just pull that loop through like so, and your knot folds backwards. Then you take your little thread and you weave it down the back of some stitching there. Before you continue, check the front that you can't see the needle, and I cannot see it at all. So I'm going to pull it through. I don't think I went down far enough though. So I'm going to go down a little bit more. You don't have to. I just find it's not far enough. I'm going to go a little bit further down, checking the front so you can't see the needle. Yep. Turning it around, you're going back into the same direction you came from, but in a different area, and you are just passing your needle through. And don't go all the way up the top. Keep it under and inside the beanie, but check the front and make sure you can't see the needle, like so. Then what you're going to do is turn back around and do it one last time, but not all the way down, just, through a few stitches. And just check the front, you can't see it, which is fantastic. Pull the loop through. I'm rushing it now, guys, because I don't want you to be watching me do the rest. It's way too easy, the rest. Now, that's the back. Remember, that's the back where we just finished our work. What you want to do is flip it, and that's where your button is going to go. Now, if you haven't chosen a button, go ahead and choose one now. You can choose whatever size button you like. I like this one. It's just so cute. I've used it on many beanies before. And I have a tendency to put my button on the left-hand side of the beanie. When baby wears it, it'll be there. I don't know why. It's something I do. So what you do is you grab a piece of thread, double it, size of the beanie, a little bit bigger if you like. It's probably too big. Give it a cut. Grabbing your sewing, darning, weaving needle, making sure firstly before you start that your needle goes through your hole of your button. Otherwise you're going to need a different needle. Threading your needle real quickly, don't waste any time. Okay, so find a place where you want your beanie to, where you want your button to go. I'm just going to lift it up, find one of these front posts, and that's where I want my sewing needle to go through. Right there. Oh, you can't see that. That's so far away. Yeah, so right through one of maybe 3/4 of the way up, because when you put it through your button, you come back down, your button will be halfway. Maybe that's too high. And we'll pop it there. How's that? That's better. So what you want to do is not pull this all the way through. You need to leave yourself a long tail. Yeah? Grab your button, pop it through one of the holes of your buttons. Button, not buttons, just button. Yeah? Pop it through the other hole of the button. And pull it through like that. And what you've got is that. Just flip it that way for a minute. Grab your work. And your thread is coming out from there. You want to go a little bit further down. And before you pull it through, make sure you're not catching onto that thread. And pull it through your piece. Yeah? Pull it through like so. Just making sure you haven't twisted everything and everything is normal. And your button should lay flat like that. If it's a little bit crooked, don't worry. You can adjust it yourself when you're doing your next section. So we're going right into the next section, up the top. Put it through the top of the button. Making sure you haven't gone through any threads here. And pulling it through. If you're not sure, just give everything a tug and it will straighten everything up. Alright, then you're going straight back into the bottom of the stitch. Button. Pulling it through, making sure you're not going through any of these threads underneath. Yeah, and then you're going back up into the next one. You don't have to do the third time. If you've got a 4-button hole, you have to go through all 4 holes, yeah? But if you've only got 2 like I have, do one more, I think is a good idea. One more, because this is for newborn baby and there'd be nothing worse than that coming undone. Oh, that's a bit knotted up. You didn't see that, did you? I ended up just pulling it through. So what I want you to do, I dropped that, I shouldn't have. What I want you to do now, this is a really long tail, it's not really that, shouldn't be that long, is just tie it in a knot. So keep your needle attached because you're going to sew this end. Tie it in a knot. Tie it in a knot one more time. And then with this needle, you're going to weave in your end. Anywhere you like. Making sure that you are not going, that you can't see your needle from this side, well, I can't see it, so there we go. Pop it through. I made this thread way too long, that's why it's getting all caught up. And just going back one more time, only making sure you can't see the needle there. I can, but that's at the back, right there. It keeps getting caught up. Anyway, that one's done. All right, so that side is done. Let me rush through this. All you're doing is threading this needle. Oh, get excited, guys. This is it. Your final part is done, signed, sealed, and delivered. And I forgot to check the front, but I'm pretty sure the front was all right. This keeps getting knotted. Why? I hope yours is not getting knotted like mine. Let's just check the front and make sure you can't see the needle. Done. Problem solved. There we go. Cut your thread and there you go. You have one beanie ready made for your little market store or wherever you want to send yours to. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all the wonderful things that you guys, well, pretty much already do for me. And also don't forget to join us at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoons and 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time. We have our lives on those times and we have a lot of fun. And Saturday mornings we are returning, or we are bringing back the live antics, which means you as a subscriber gets to choose the color combination of our very next tutorial on our Saturday mornings live. Don't forget, guys, that's Melbourne, Australia time. I will see everyone then. And I just want to say, how gorgeous is this beanie? I hope my next door neighbour loves it. Yay! Ciao for now.